Okay, so what should I do when I get my 8-week-old puppy home from Grace Poodles? The first thing you want to practice is recall. And I call it random recall, but you'll want to have high value treats and you'll want to just randomly call her or him for no other reason than to give them a treat, okay? So when you first get your puppy home, they don't have a relationship with you as of yet. So you will want to build that. So when they come to you, that is worthy of a treat, okay? In the future, after you've started to develop a relationship with them, when you call them, then they are required to sit to say please. But when you don't have a relationship with your puppy, you need to, if they come to you, they get a high value treat. Now, random recall is a life-saving skill, okay? You will wire it in their brain that they can just come to you and get a treat for no other reason than to get a treat. And if you practice it enough and you are random enough, then if they are on the scent of a rabbit, you're going to be able to call them off. If someone comes to the door, you're going to be able to call them off. That's the first life-saving behavior that you are going to teach your dog. The second life-saving behavior that you are going to practice is called the collar grab. Now, she doesn't have a collar on, but we can still practice it. And it's where you reach for them. See how she startled just a little bit? You'll reach for them like she just got out in a busy Walmart parking lot. You'll reach for her. She needs to know that when your hand comes flying at her head, that food will follow. That way she or he does not avoid you, because a dog is quicker than a human every time. Every single time. So you want to put on your best Emmy award-winning act and you want to reach for them, and they may startle, but you just have to make sure that they know that there is a good quality treat following. So those are the first things that you'll want to do when you get your 8-week-old puppy home from Grace Poodles. Another thing I highly recommend, as much as is within you, as much as you're able to do, no free meals that she should work for her kibble, or at least for the first few days, just get it from your hand, because I'm the food lady and I raise them. They are attached to me because I was there when they were born, and because their food and affection comes from me and my family. So you are going to want to switch that over to you. Now, if you just throw their food down in the morning and let them eat it, well, you're missing out on an incredible opportunity for them to learn and to bond with you. So I highly recommend you feeding them by hand, their 2 meals a day. That is what I highly recommend. So hand feeding for at least a month. The collar grab. Now, she's never been hit before, but it's just, it's just mammal survival instinct that if something comes flying at your head, that you duck it, right? So we have to train that out of her, correct? So, she's getting full now. Good girl. But if you practice the random recall and you wire it, you retract that part in their brain, and it's just habitual that they come back to you, and you practice the collar grab, you will be able to save their life in a dangerous adrenaline situation. Now, most people, and you'll see it all over the internet, people complaining about it, my dog won't come when I call. Well, you've got to practice it, number one. And number two, if the only time you call them is when you're asking them to come out in from playing in the yard, then you're teaching them not to come. So you need to, if they're out playing in the yard, you need to call them, give them a high value treat, and let them go back to playing. Now, your dog is only as good as the effort you put into them. And so if you just do a couple things, boy, you'll have their recall down pat. There is another thing that you can do, and it's called, I don't know, we call it pass the puppy, or some people call it puppy ping pong. But if one person stands over here and calls the puppy and gives them a treat, and you have another person standing a few feet away and they call the puppy and they get a treat, then you're exercising the puppy mentally and physically, and you're practicing recall. And I have videos about that on YouTube. So, okay, well, that's my Tony's training tips of the day.